I've owned my 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road for a year now, and I just hit 10,000 miles. So now is the perfect time to give you my long-term review. For those of you who have been around since the beginning of the channel, you'll know that I owned a 2018 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road, and that's really what kicked this channel off. Now, it's important to know my perspective because I had the 3rd gen, and as I review the 4th gen, it's hard for me not to compare the two. Now, this last year has been so fun. I've done so much with this truck. I've taken it off-road. I towed a camping trailer. I swapped out the front grille for a very one similar to the TRD Pro. I modified it with front and rear recovery hooks, installed an air intake from 6 Element, did my first oil change, and gotten an oil analysis done. I raced it against my 3rd gen Tacoma. I measured them side by side to see the differences, and I was the first one to get the OTT tune. So you can tell I've gotten to know this truck really well. So in this video, I'm gonna go over my 2nd oil analysis to tell you just how healthy this engine is. And then I'm gonna give you some of the bad, some of the good, and then I'm gonna let you know what's coming for the future of the channel. Like I mentioned, I just hit 10,000 miles and I had the dealership do my 10,000 mile oil change, and I grabbed a sample from them and I sent it into Blackstone Labs. So we're gonna review that analysis now. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because the oil is the lifeblood of your engine, and it can tell you a lot about the health of the engine. And I know that the 4-cylinder turbo is very controversial right now. Guys love the V6, and people are worried about reliability. And so this was one way we can tell if this engine's going to be reliable. Okay, I'm going to put this up on the screen here. This is the oil analysis from Blackstone Labs. It's really easy to do. I'll put a link down in the description if you guys want to do one of these for your truck. But I really like this analysis that they do for you. So this column on the right here, this is when I did my first analysis. This was done at 6,000 miles. And you can see here, this column is all the elements in parts per million. So they will bold them if it's showing high. So you can see here, the first oil change, I was high on aluminum, iron, copper, and silicon. So like I said, there was nothing alarming with my first initial oil change. A lot of those elements are due just to the fact that it was brand new. Now, they did say at 6,000 miles, that was pretty much the limit of that oil. If I would have gone any more than that, the oil was going to start to break down. Okay, now let's take a look at this oil change that I did at 10,000 miles. So you can see now aluminum is down now. We have copper is still showing a little bit higher, but it was down from my initial first oil change. And silicon is down, but still a little bit high, and I think that's okay. I bet the next oil change that I do, it's gonna basically flush all that out, and we should see close to the universal averages. So if you see over here on the far right, these are the universal averages that we see with this engine across all the samples that they've taken. So they take an average as kind of like a baseline for you to know either if you're high or you're low. And then down here, this section is for the oil properties. So we have the viscosity here showing at 53.5, and a good range that it should be in is 46 to 57. So I'm within range, and this is a good way to tell if this oil had any life left in it. So you can see I was at 53, and I could go as low as 46. So this oil probably had a little bit more life in it, and he even mentions that in the comments up here, and I'll read that a little bit later. But I probably could have gone a little bit longer. You can see here that I only ran about 4,000 miles on this oil, so I could have gone a little bit longer. And then down here, they also mentioned there's no fuel, antifreeze, water, or insoluble. So overall, really healthy, clean bill of health. Now I want to read the little commentary that they give up here. This is exactly the kind of progress we'd hope for, as wherein sealer materials clear out of the system. Aluminum and iron are now reading within average range. Copper and silicon should continue to drop from here until they are also low enough to avoid the bold marks. We'll just look for some more progress next time. The oil itself is in good physical condition, with an in-spec viscosity and low insolubles, showing that the oil did not get too oxidized. We didn't find any coolant, water, or excess fuel contamination in this sample either. Try 6,000 miles again. So he's basically saying that this oil had a little bit life in it to go 6,000 miles. Now, I'm not going to do it in 6,000 mile intervals because that just complicates things. I'm going to do it every 5,000 miles. Now, I know the manual says 10,000 miles, but guys, I've done the analysis, and it really seems like 5,000 to 6,000 miles is really what this truck and engine can handle. Somebody let me know down in the comments, as I was scheduling my oil change with the dealership, I noticed that they were covering it every 5,000 mile intervals, because Toyota says they'll give you like 2 years oil changes for free, or 36,000 miles, I think is what it is. They'll cover that. And so I thought, because the manual says to do this oil change every 10,000 miles, that that's all that they would cover. They wouldn't cover like a 5,000 mile oil change. So somebody let me know if somebody has done that. Have you gotten a 5,000 mile oil change and a 10,000 mile oil change, and did Toyota cover it? Because if they do, that's really awesome. I did my first oil change myself, partly because I wanted to do a video, but I didn't think Toyota even would, because I didn't know they were covering 5,000 mile intervals. So somebody drop me a comment down below if you've done that. Now let's talk about what I like about this truck. First and foremost, it is the powertrain. The 8-speed automatic transmission with the turbo 4-cylinder, guys, is, I mean, it is just night and day comparison to the 3rd gen Tacoma that I had. It was constantly gear hunting. It felt very underpowered. I mean, if there was any slight of an incline, it was just downshifting. Revs would go way up just to try to make any power. With this, it's smooth. This thing makes a lot of low end torque, so I'm really happy with the powertrain. The next thing that I've really enjoyed with this truck is the seats and the seating position. So these seats are really soft. They have the 8-way power adjustable seats with the lumbar support, and the seating position is very different than it was in the 3rd gen. In the 3rd gen, your feet were kind of straight out. This was very low to the ground. Guys would even put what's called seat jackers in them to bring the seat up. That was just a known issue, but here we don't have that, because you're able to adjust, and the seating position is more like a chair and less like you know, your feet just straight out. So really enjoyed that. All right, moving on to the next thing that I've really enjoyed is this huge 14-inch display screen. Now, initially I thought this was going to be too big and obnoxious, but it's actually grown on me. It feels very normal now. But the touchscreen is very responsive, which I appreciate. And if you're familiar with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you'll know that the interface is really easy to use, and it's way better than Entune, which was Toyota's infotainment system. So overall, I'm just really enjoying this feature. Another nice technology feature is that this truck will basically drive itself. So it has adaptive cruise control with the lane keep assist. Now, it'll actually basically drive the truck, like I said, by itself. You do have to keep your hand on the wheel to keep it happy, but it will keep you centered in the lane, and it will also do variable speed based on the traffic in front of you. So I'm really enjoying that piece. I mean, it works really well, and like I said, you got to keep your hand on the wheel or it's going to get mad at you. So you can see it's slowing down for me here because I'm coming up on some traffic, but this makes it really nice on some longer drives. You know, you can kind of zone out a little bit and just keep your hand on the wheel, but the truck's going to do most of the work for you. So just a nice little technology touch that I've enjoyed. The next thing that I've really enjoyed is the appearance. Now, I know this is subjective, but to me, I think visually this is a step up. It looks more aggressive, and I love the blend of sharp and round edges. They also kept the Tacoma DNA. It very much looks like a proper evolution from its predecessors. Now let's move on to some of the bad, or should I say things that just kind of annoy me. Now, overall, I've been happy with the build quality, but one issue is that this plastic piece on the bed here is coming up, and it seems like as the weather changes, you know, sometimes it's worse. It's actually not too bad right now, but you can see it just doesn't lay perfectly flat. I think some double-sided tape would fix that pretty easy, and actually in a future video I actually might switch these out for the I think they call it integrated bed scene lighting that comes on like the Trail Hunter. So I'm going to see if that's possible to modify these and install those in a future video. Here's a look at the other side. It's kind of doing the same thing here. So I know this is actually kind of a known issue. Other guys have experienced this as well. So just one little build quality issue that I'm not happy with. On to the next thing that bugs me. Sometimes when I hop in the truck and I start it up, my phone doesn't connect all the time. Now, I'd say it probably happens 10% of the time. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to go into the interface and connect my phone. So for my next and biggest complaint is this, the key fob. Mainly for two reasons. One, the range is really bad, and two, how you have to do the remote start. So the range, it's really bad. It's only good for like, feels like maybe 30 feet at the most. And that combined with the way that you remote start this just really infuriates me. So the way that you do it is you have to click it 3 times, and on the third one you hold down the click. And you have to get the cadence just right or it doesn't work. So let me show you what I mean here. I'm going to intentionally screw this up. So you can see that I delayed just slightly on that third click and it just won't do it. So you have to get the cadence just right. And as you're walking to the truck, if you don't get it just right, and with the poor range, it's like, why do I even have remote start? So it's just been a frustration of mine. I know that other manufacturers will have just like a quick double click and it starts. So I don't like the 3-click method. I mean, and then sometimes it doesn't even register. See, I mean, I clicked it, it didn't register, and so the cadence is off now. So yeah, just one of my gripes. I love that it has remote start. I just wish it was better. So overall, guys, it's been a great year with this truck. I'd buy it again with no hesitation. And now you can actually get deals on these trucks now. They're actually offering discounts. When I bought it, I got no discount. So even more reason to buy one of these. But guys, my goal for this last year was to provide you with as much content as I could without doing a lot of serious modifications. And I've done that now. So I'm ready to do some bigger modifications like wheels, tires, suspension, maybe some overlanding gear, and I really want your help to do that. So on YouTube, I'm going to be posting on there where you can vote and help me decide on how I should modify my truck. And I've already done the first one. You guys voted, so thanks for those who did vote. You chose for me to buy some Method wheels. I put it up against some Black Rhino bronze wheels. I'm deciding between the two, and you guys said go with the Black Method wheels. So looks like I'm going to be spending my tax return on some wheels. So guys, please subscribe, vote, help me build this thing out. Let me know if there's any type of content you want me to see, because I'll do it and I need ideas. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate you. The channel has grown quite a bit in this last year, and I feel like this is kind of like a milestone for me to take it to the next level. I'm even looking at getting a 4Runner as well, adding that to the channel. So please like, subscribe, guys. Drop me a comment, and we'll catch you in the next video.